Men of Reddit who stopped wanting to have sex with their wives, why? And what happened? She refused to get the help she needed with self-harm and alcoholism. The stress and anxiety of her either cutting herself daily and blaming it on me or getting off work to find her not home and often passed out drunk in her car somewhere was too much for me to even consider sex. Damn bro. I hope you got out of that relationship or at the very least got her the help she needed. I saw her through a little over a year of therapy, paid for it all, went with her when I needed to, went by myself to learn how to be supportive and not set her back further. After let's say about 14 months of working 2 jobs to pay for all of that, sleeping in my car a few days a week because I didn't have time to come home between shifts, and doing my best to keep what was going on reasonably hidden from my family so they wouldn't have a negative opinion of her and her extremely religious Southern Baptist family so it wouldn't affect their opinion of her, she started to get better, started coping in a healthy way, and didn't rely on alcohol nearly as much as before. Those good times lasted about 6 weeks. She started sleeping with her boss because they developed a connection while I was busy at work to pay for her therapy. We were married and very quickly divorced after she turned up pregnant with his kid. So you know, an all-around shitty period of my life and a few years I'll never get back. I hate your wife. No offense. None taken. She was a piece of shit who hid a lot of problems through a few years of dating and engagement. She didn't want to live together until we were married because of her religious family and was able to hide quite a bit from me until she just couldn't anymore. I hope she's a better person after all of that, and I've tried to take away the fact that I may not have been a perfect husband, but I did every single thing I could to stand by someone that needed me, and I have a much better life now. I like to think the good karma came back around my way. Like many others in here, it's become commonplace in our marriage that I will try to instigate but get turned down for whatever reasons. For me, I don't really even try anymore because she has such deep emotional and mental problems she refuses to get help for. Depression, horrible anxiety, so on. We could be having a great day. Spend the day together cuddling, have a great meal, cuddle on the couch to watch a rom-com she loves, and then try to start something, only to get pushed away, turned down, makes you not want to even try anymore. Which is basically where I am at now. Dude, I'm with you, mine is more of a medical issue though, but my ex got pregnant with someone's kids no more than 3 months after we got married, and I still went back, but that was because we didn't know if I could have kids, so I would be doing everything I can even at one time while working at a meat packing plant almost 12 hours and going to college. I would get yelled at for being lazy and not doing anything to help out, and I have always had 2 jobs, having 2 kids, one definitely looks like me, but because of her constantly saying I'm not picking up the slack, I didn't want anything from her, and that was after we found out she was pregnant, so about 2 years ago, and been separated almost a year after she cheated on me again with a guy like 5 times, so after that I wanted a divorce. My ex-wife, she became less and less interested in sex with me and more emotionally distant. I suspected she was cheating on me, spoiler alert. I was right. I could tell that sex was more of a let's get this over with than something she enjoyed or wanted to do. So I stopped trying because it was no longer a pleasant experience. Funny thing is that she used that as a reason for cheating, but she was cheating on me long before that. She started not even trying to initiate and made me feel like having sex was a job to her. Ended up in basically a dead bedroom situation that we tried to remedy a few times, but it never stuck. Eventually, we ended up divorced for a different reason, and I found out that she had been cheating. Makes sense that she was getting what she needed somewhere else, so she didn't need me. Best decision I ever made was to end that relationship. Gave me the opportunity to find someone who enjoys me just as much as I enjoy them. Not at that point yet, but kind of getting there. When we first met, I was fresh out of a relationship with a mentally abusive and manipulative woman who used sex as a tool to get what she wanted, so the first couple of months with this new woman was amazing. Sex 2 and 3 times a day, but then she started having issues. Her vagina hurts, her neck hurts, etc. All valid and I was okay. Then she started showering less and using that as an excuse. She showers every other day. I shower every day. Sometimes we've had sex and the smell was a turn-off, so I'd give up or go soft. She'd turn down my initiations. She would say stuff like, let's have sex tonight, and then when I'd try that night, what are you doing? I'm tired. It's time for bed. So eventually I started to lose interest. I don't initiate anymore, and now when she wants it, I am not in the mood. When I want it, she isn't in the mood. I don't really understand what her problem or endgame is, but if her plan was for me to never want sex, it's worked. If you never initiate, never wanted, my interest is gone. She was married for 10 years prior and has said since the beginning him asking for a divorce was a blindside because she never expected it, but over the years I've listed off a bunch of reasons he probably wanted a divorce. I love this woman, she treats my daughter, who we've both raised as her own, and she has her shit together, but I'm at the point of filing for divorce myself. Many different reasons as to why I want one, but the main ones are lack of sex, no interest in sex, basically have to beg her for a kiss and lack of will to do anything. If I wasn't anal about having a clean house, it'd never be done because she doesn't even lend a hand with that either. I once tested it to see if anything would be done. I didn't clean for 3 straight months. House was a disaster, floors never swept or mopped, kitchen had gnats, bathroom was disgusting. When the 3 months were up, it took an entire weekend to get everything back in order by myself. There was an entire trash bag full of dust. After that I realized maybe I'm not so happy as I thought. Bit off topic, but everything I listed are reasons why I mostly lost interest in sex. Thanks for reading. Before writing this I told myself there's going to be downvotes because I mentioned her not cleaning, so oh well. A lighter take, perhaps. I just wanted to sleep. Still happily married, 5 years married, we're in our 40s. At night, when I get in bed, I'm awake 15 minutes max before I am out, hard sleeper. Now we drill afternoon delight style before dinner, and it has been like crossing the Rubicon into a vastly better place. People say sleeping together. I'm a big fan of sex, but I also love sleeping. I'm a sleepwalker and have a hard time staying asleep longer than a few hours, so a good night's sleep is more valuable than gold to me. If she were to roll me over at 3 AM, she'll get a few minutes of fury, but if she wants romance, I've got to be awake. Took us a while to get synchronized, but I understand the frustration involved. Communication. I've always had a problem with intimacy. Something in my upbringing. I'm severely deficient in this area. I can have sex anytime, anywhere, with nearly anyone. And I have. But my 2 longest relationships. The previous one lacked any consistent sex even though the girl and I had amazing sexual chemistry. My marriage is near sexless, and it's 80% my fault. The closer I get to someone in a relationship, the less interested in sex I get. I need to go through some therapy for the issue, I just haven't been in a situation to receive it for a while. As a woman on the other end, this is really devastating, and this is how my last relationship ended. In the beginning, he was extremely physical with me, and I was just getting warmed up to him. Even at times I asked him to slow down a bit. Then after I got attached and more desirous of him, he completely cooled off and had little interest in even touching me. It was heartbreaking. With my wife it was something that other men might not have minded, but it bothered me. She never declined sex, HIV, but rejected everything else associated. Limited touching with hands, lights off, no oral fingers. I became bored of that and found masturbating porn to be more efficient and interesting. That's just strange. Are you guys still together? Nope. Ex-wife. When I found her underneath our friend who was staying with us till he found his own place. He was there approx 3 months, they claim it only happened in the previous 4 weeks. I'm either blind or completely unobservant in my own, then, home. My wife became a huge bitch. But here's the twist. She's super hot. She's like at her peak attractiveness, way hotter than when we met. She's in better shape, cooler haircut, updated style, she's rockin'. But she's massively emotionally abusive and won't see it or change. So when she complains about us not having sex, the only reason she can accept is, I'm not attracted to her anymore because she's getting older and less hot. She says that specifically to make me seem like a shallow asshole who makes her feel ugly, instead of accepting responsibility for tanking our relationship. It's infuriating. As a woman, this is really sad. Both sides can get real hurt if one person is not interested and rejects. My sex drive is different than my husband's, but I feel bad if I reject him. I try to make it up later. I get horny at night and he gets horny in the morning. I'm not a morning person and he needs sleep for work. In high school when we were dating we had sex every day and multiple times a day. Now, we have sex every 2 days or so. Longest we have gone without sex is a week. That was due to my anxiety meds giving me no sex drive. I don't know how some couples can go months or years without sex. I hope we never come to that. It sounds to me like you guys are doing great and that you really do love him. Letting him know that and reaffirming your relationship to each other helps massively. Me and my wife are the same way. But as I get older the sex happens less and less, but I will say when we do have sex, now about 1 to 2 times a week, it is epic. So less frequent, but more intense. We both just enjoying doing things together. And not all of them are sex. The most important thing is to make time to remind each other you both find each other attractive. Me and my wife will flirt all week and then go to town on the weekend. Then we play board games, video games, etc. for the rest of the time. Life is good. Something I should have thought about before I got married. If you don't marry someone with the same interest level as yourself, you will be extremely disappointed with your sex life. Case in point. I married at 20. We had our first child at 22, second child at 25. After the second child, she rarely wanted sex. We've been married for a long time, and finally I sat in bed one day and asked her why. I hardly ever drink, I never gambled the mortgage away, she never went without, always had all the necessities plus a ton more. What did I do to deserve a sexless marriage? Know what she said? I fucked up. Fuck me. I'm still pissed. She said she would change, but nothing is different. Be careful who you choose to spend the rest of your life with. Forever is a long time. It's so weird that your metric for being a good husband is that you're not a drunk or a gambling addict. There's a lot more to be a partner than providing financially. Not to say she's at all justified. But what did she say when you said, "How did I fuck up?" We do have sex, but even before we were married, it wasn't frequent. I have a condition called spastic diplegia, which is a form of cerebral palsy. It can be difficult to maintain my stamina. She says I'm very good at oral, but sex has always been a mixed bag of success. My confidence level for having sex is quite low. In my previous relationship, she was constantly disappointed in my performance, and she initiated sex before foreplay, which severely reduces the chance for orgasm anyway. Hence why I perform oral on my wife every time before having sex. What happened in my previous relationship is that I would finish too early, and I can tell by her reaction that she was unsatisfied. In my marriage, she finishes at every opportunity, but I don't have the stamina to finish inside her, which is what she wants, child making and all that. So right now it's a combination of low self-esteem and poor energy levels. And this is super embarrassing, but I don't think I'm doing it right 80% of the time, and it's a challenge to navigate things thanks to the CP. And that's just a large dose of humiliating honesty. We had just been together too long, it just felt like a worn out recording of my favorite song, you know. So one night we're in bed and I'm reading the paper. In the personal columns, I found a letter that went a little something like this: if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain, if you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape, then I'm the love that you've looked for, write to me, and escape. Seeing that our relationship was what it was, I wrote to the paper to take out a personal ad. I wrote, yes, I like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. I'm not much into health food, but I am into champagne. I've got to meet you by tomorrow at noon and cut through all this red tape at a bar called O'Malley's, where we'll plan our escape. So I went to the pub and waited with high hopes, and she walked in. I knew her smile in an instant, I knew the curve of her face. It was my own lovely lady, and she said, "Oh, it's you." Then we laughed for a moment, then I said, "I never knew that you liked pina coladas and getting caught in the rain and the feel of the ocean and the taste of champagne. That you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape. You're the lady I've looked for, come with me and escape." And so we repaired our relationship and we were stronger together afterwards. Please let me know your thoughts about this subject down below in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Be safe.